The way to structure the text is by means of using sections, subsections, and sub-subsections, which we are not using in this particular case. Notice that this backlash is the way to indicate that you're using a command. So I didn't comment on that, but when you have backlash use package, this tells you to a different color from the rest of the text, which tells you that you're using a command and has a special treatment because it'll do something either with the text or with the document as a whole. So when you write this backlash section sets, when you're creating a section, this provides the text with a different look. You see bold and a larger size for the font. And if you were creating a table of contents, you could get those elements all listed with the corresponding pages they are located in. So we have sections for sets, parameters, variables, and so on. Okay, and the way to indicate that is using these curly brackets with the name inside them. Then you can add lines of text. Okay, be careful because if you don't leave this space in between them, LaTeX considers that to be a single line. So when you recompile, you'll see that this first is just up to this dot here, so this period. So there are other ways to tell LaTeX that this is a new paragraph, but this is one which works fine. So the way to define sets and many of the elements we're going to include in our model is by the means of creating tables. And the way to do that, the easiest way, is using this, what is called environment. An environment is a chunk of text with some logic and some syntax where you can include things according to that syntax. In this case, this environment is called Tabular, okay, and it will create a table. In our case, we are creating a table with 3 columns, okay. This L stands for left justifying the first column, C for centering the second column, and then left justifying the third one. So you can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This is a table, although there are no lines dividing rows or columns. But okay, this is where when my mouse is where you can find this table. So that what you have is, imagine if I set R for right, you'll see that this PC move a little bit to the right because you are right justifying that column. Okay, well, you don't notice the difference probably because of the width of the column, but this is something you can use as a general rule. Okay, so what you find afterwards is as many rows separated by this double backlash. Okay, so if I do this backlash and I say A ampersand C ampersand, well, you'll get, no, there's something missing here because I want, let's see, well, I can use BC. So it creates a new row where you have those 3 values in each of the 3 columns. Okay, so the way to create new rows is by using this double backlash, and within that row you separate things by using the ampersands. So you'll have 2 ampersands separating 3 columns. We are using these semicolons to separate what the set is called and what it refers to. In this case we have P for plants and C for customers, and we have the first chunk where we are writing formula in LaTeX. The way to introduce formula in LaTeX is by means of this $sign. When you write something inside a couple of dollar signs, you can write, let's say, math text. In this case, we're using the command mathcall with P, which allows us to have this let's say, fancy P or this fancy C, which is kind of italic, not exactly, but we can easily differentiate from other C's and P's we can find throughout the text. So this is one way to create this code or this text where we will write a formula for representing different elements, some sums or any kind of operation in mathematical terms. In this case, we are only naming the sets, and we only need this mathcal command to refer to that. And then, of course, we have the end tabular, which means that that table finishes there, and that's what we see here.